The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. The Center for Autism and Related Disorders advises working with a board-certified behavior analyst who has experience with autism before starting any intensive behavioral intervention. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Welcome to Autism Live and to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy.
Good morning.
How are you?
How are you, Shannon?
You know, I'm just going to be honest because I think it's important to keep it real here that I'm having a tough old time.
Yeah, I hear you. I think a lot of us are.
Yep. And it's cumulative. It's there's a whole bunch of things all at once going on that are just kicking my keister. And I have said this, if I've said this once, I've said it 20 times this week. I have a hard time being in grief and in fear and in all of those emotions. And I migrate quickly to anger. And I have been angry at everyone and everything for the last couple of days. And I'm trying to meter it, trying to go, is this something that's worth being angry about? And do you need to advocate here? Or do you need to take a deep breath? But woo, it has not been fun to be around Shannon.
It's a tough week for all of us. That obviously we're dealing with the death of Joanne Laura, which has been devastating for all who know her.
Yes, and we've been talking about that all week. And even, as the show starts, there's a moment where I got to be silent before the show. And usually it's this meditative moment. And I just, oh man, I find that it's like the black clouds start to close in, and then Traven plays the opening song. And usually, I dance during the song, and I've had to I'm not dancing, and then I hear it and I go, oh no, Joanne would want me to dance. And so then I make myself dance and I feel a little bit better. We've been asking everybody all week, Nancy, to find a minute out of your day to just dance with abandon, shake it off and dance with abandon, remember Joanne. And dancing is a good thing. Put on some music, act like nobody can watch, nobody can see, right?
Right.
We have a big show today, and I want to remind everybody, we want you to interact. We want to hear from you. I've been saying every morning to people, Nancy, that I love the interactive part of the show, and I really need it right now. Mm-hmm. So participate right into us. Tell us you're listening. Tell us what's on your mind. Tell us what you're mad about or what you're having a hard time with. But we do have a big show this morning. Right out the gate, I believe she's probably with us. Karen Nohelty joins us from research, and a little bit later on, we're going to be joined by Matt and Navah Asner. We will talk a little bit about Joanne, but we want to tell you we want to get back to the work, like Joanne always said.
Right.
Let's focus on the work. So we're going to have them tell you about some things that they have going on that are really great. But Traven, is Karen there? Can we pop Karen in? And Karen Nohelty, as I mentioned, she is part of the research team. Oh, I'm hoping, there she is. Karen, I was afraid, I was like, she may not know what the code is. And anyway, thank you for being there.
Of course.
And you look lovely. And what a nice background. Doesn't she look like all official and like she planned it out?
Yes.
Okay. So, Karen, tell us what you do, because I was just saying you're with the research and development, but tell them what you do and then tell us what we're talking about today.
Sure. So I head up the research and development department at CARD, and that involves, running research programs, supporting employees and families with research, and, everything in that domain.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so you and other members of your team join us about once a month to talk about research topics and to kind of give us an understanding of what's happening in the world of research, both at CARD and outside of CARD, and what's important, and translate it. Because Nancy, like you and I have tried to translate this, and we're like two women in the dark with a flashlight with no battery.
Right. That's so true. Yeah, we're glad that we've got Karen here to translate it for us today.
Yeah.
Glad to help.
So what are we talking about today?
Sure. So one of the prominent journals in ABA, which is called Behavior Analysis and Practice, put together this emergency series, really focusing on giving practical tools and tips to clinicians and parents around this pandemic. And I picked one of the articles that I wanted to share because it really focuses on practical tips for parents and caregivers. It's written in parent-friendly language. So if any parents are interested in looking at the article itself, if you Google the title, it'll come up pretty quickly. And I would encourage parents to look at it because it's actually accessible. So the article is called Promoting Functional Communication Within the Home, and it's by Bondi, Horton, and Frost. And two of those authors were involved in developing PECS, which is picture exchange communication for individuals who are non-vocal. So some of your listeners may know PECS. So these authors are very versed in the area of communication. And in this article, they talk about 9 what they call critical communication skills and give practical strategies for families to use at home. All the strategies are backed by research, but they don't include research in the article to really focus on the practical nature of it. And I do want to say I tend to use the language your child, but these strategies apply for teens, adults, doesn't matter how old your child is. So I'll jump right in here. The first critical communication skill is requesting reinforcers. And this involves identifying highly preferred items or activities that your child really likes and identify how your child can request those things throughout the day. And a request can be exchanging a picture, saying a word, saying a sentence, and you want to do whatever is easiest for your child here. And I really like the article pointed out to also look at things your child needs, but maybe doesn't really see as preferred. So for example, when your child's eating yogurt, you need a spoon. They don't necessarily like spoons, but when you're eating yogurt, you need a spoon. So if you give them just the yogurt and then prompt them to ask for the spoon, that's a great way to foster communication and get those skills going a little bit more. And the key that they also really focus on with this is to really focus on creating situations when your child is calm to work on requesting, as opposed to waiting for your child to have a tantrum or have an issue before prompting these skills. So that's really the first strategy they talked about. The second one is all about requesting help and assistance. And for this, you also want to identify natural opportunities throughout the day when your child needs help. And what you do is you want to focus on prompting them to ask for help in those situations. So this could include, giving your child a Ziploc baggie that they can't open. Resist the urge to help them open it or help them do whatever these tasks are, and instead prompt them to ask for help. Again, whether that's exchanging a picture card or asking for help, you want them to request that from you, and then you give them that assistance to help open that Ziploc baggie or whatever it is. Other examples are, opening up a Tupperware container, taking a cap off a marker, putting on their shoes, blowing up a balloon. So these can include play activities. These can include activities of like getting dressed in the morning, and teaching your child to ask for help is a great way to reduce that frustration that they may be feeling. Okay, the next one is asking for a break. And, a lot of kids are wrapping up school, but, virtual schoolwork is definitely something that can be stressful, as well as maybe chores and maybe some other activities throughout the day. And if you teach your child to ask for a break before they melt down, that can really reduce tantrums and can really help the flow of the day. So, all of these first three here are all about teaching your child to make these requests, to get their needs met. And then, your child can feel proud and feel independent that they're able to do these things without, communicate their needs without needing the parent to guess, so to speak. The next two are related here. First one is rejecting by saying no. So there are going to be things that your child just doesn't want to do. And teaching them to communicate no when you offer them something is really important, because then again, they get to express themselves and be able to tell you what they don't want to do. So what you want to do is in the beginning, just present items to your child that they don't like, prompt them to say no. And in the beginning, especially when they say no, you want to remove the item immediately so that they learn, oh, I say no, and the item goes away. As things go on, you're going to have to teach them some flexibility with it, but that's at least the beginning first step. On the other hand of this, you also want to teach them to say yes. And this is something that often gets forgotten, but we want to make sure that your child is able to communicate to you what they want as opposed to you guessing. So I'm sure there's some parents out there where, you've offered your child, okay, do you want yogurt? Do you want chips? Do you want cookies? And you're kind of waiting for them to show a sign that they're interested in that snack. And by teaching your child to say yes, that really shows you clearly that this is what they want, not something that they're just going to take because you're putting it in front of them. So by doing this, you again, same kind of strategy, you want to either teach them to say yes with a picture card, say yes vocally, in order to communicate this intent on their part. So the last 4 strategies here are what the authors call listener behaviors. And we typically think about functional communication involving, individuals requesting their wants and needs and then getting those items. But these listener behaviors, I think, are also really important. And they're ways for individuals to express their understanding of language in a way that leads to direct outcomes for them. So this first one is a huge area, responding to wait and tolerating no. And this is all about the individual understanding when you tell them to wait, that they need to wait calmly and that they're going to get that item. And waiting really is a promise that must be fulfilled. So when someone tells you to wait, you are under the understanding that you're going to get that item eventually. And that's really important to teach individuals. And you want to start with a shorter time interval and then gradually increase that. So if you have an item your child wants, you tell them wait, maybe you wait 5 seconds. Oh, here you go, you can have it. And as time goes on, you want them to wait for longer and longer periods of time because, waiting for 5 seconds is not super functional. In terms of tolerating no, that's a little bit different than wait because, that item is just not available at all. And I like their suggestion in the article. They say to try the no game. And what this involves is talking to your child, telling them that sometimes you'll say no to them, but if they respond calmly, they'll get some other rewards. And when you do this, you want to first start by saying no to something that's not that important to them. So, if they like bananas, but, they don't really care that much about bananas, when they point to a banana, just say, no, not right now. And if they respond calmly, then you give them something else that they can eat as a snack or that they can play with. And that's a way to teach them to tolerate that communication on our end to them. Okay, the next one is all about following directions. Another huge area here. And I like how they phrase it in terms of the functional communication piece, where start by teaching your child to follow directions that leads to something meaningful for them. So for example, if you tell them, get the ball, they bring you the ball and then you play with the ball together. So if you can give them instructions that leads to something good for them, then they learn, oh, following instructions really is something positive and beneficial that I should do because then I get to hang out, I get to play with mom and dad, different things like that. Okay, number 8 on this list is all about following a schedule. And a schedule is another great way for us to communicate to our individuals on the spectrum what the day is going to look like, or what the next couple hours or what the next hour is going to look like. So for this, I like to think like I use a schedule all the time. I reference my schedule, I don't know how many times a day, constantly. And, a schedule is something that a lot of adults use and rely on. So it's a great tool to really support our individuals on the spectrum with as well. It can be with pictures, it can be with text, whatever works for your child. And what you want to do is you want to put those pictures or text in order. You can write it down on a piece of paper. That's probably the simplest way. You can also get pictures. This can be a physical thing that you can hold. It can be digital. It can be on an iPad. There's so many different options. But you want to start simple and, write or use the pictures to show the list of what's going to happen in the day. And then as you go through, communicate to your child, oh, this is all done. This is what's next. And go through that schedule step by step. And, you know, initially you want to stick to that schedule exactly. And then later on, once the individual starts to get it, you can start to build in flexibility. The last tip here, the last communication strategy is related, and it's all about transitioning between activities. And this is where you can use a schedule to aid in transitions that might be kind of challenging. And what the authors noted in this article is that it's beneficial to really focus on the reward following transitioning to something that's less preferred. So as an example, if your child's eating snack and then the next thing on the list is they're going to have to do some schoolwork, but after that they get to watch TV. Instead of telling your child, okay, when you finish your snack, we're going to go do schoolwork, that kind of ends on the non-preferred thing they don't want to do. You want to focus on the reward. You want to focus on, okay, you know, in a little bit, we're going to do schoolwork and then you get to watch TV. Which show do you want to watch? Do you want to watch, and give them 2 options of their favorite shows? So you focus on the reward, that helps kids transition a little bit better. So the nice thing I like about all of these strategies is that you can do them throughout the day. They don't require you to set up a special time to work on these skills. You know, and also, even though these skills were written specifically for the pandemic, you know, I think these tips are useful, whether it's next week, next month, 5 years from now. I think these strategies are something that's going to be really, really important and helpful for families in their everyday interactions with kids.
So I love this, Karen. What I feel like it is like this amazing toolkit.
Yes.
And all the tools aren't going to be used all the time by all of the people. Because I know somebody wrote in and said, you know, PECS never worked with my son when he was nonverbal because he gamed the system. And the thing about one of the things that I've learned that you guys have taught me is that, you know, there's more than one way of doing things. And since our kids are all different, and we say when you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. And one of the frustrations that we have maybe with, like, you know, general public school is that this is the teaching method. And some kids fit into it and some kids don't. But ABA says, here's the toolkit. If this didn't work with this individual, not even kid, because we're talking teens and adults, right, then on to this other strategy and let's try that. And I think that that's one of the great gifts that ABA has given to my family, is that, like, okay, it says that the kid is never wrong. The learner is never wrong, but we're just gonna, and that it's not that they're unable to learn it. We just got to keep trying till we find the way in to teach it. And so how many different things are on this report?
9.
So 9 different things that you guys could access as a parent today and go, all right, well, I haven't tried this one. Let me give this a whirl-ski. And where can they find it again, Karen?
So again, if they Google the title, it comes right up. It's Promoting Functional Communication Within the Home. And the authors are Bondi, Horton, and Frost.
Wonderful.
I think you're absolutely right, Karen, that these are skills that transcend the coronavirus. They're things that we can use every day. One of the things that I think is really important is the schedule, especially with kids not being at school. You know, they can tend to be adrift somewhat, and having a schedule can really help that.
Definitely. Yes. Even if it's just, okay, we're going to go outside and then we're going to read a book and then we're going to watch TV, you know, you can still make a schedule.
Right.
And somebody's writing in and saying that your talk was really useful, Karen. So thank you so much for that. And I want to point out too, that as school is ending places, it's really important to be changing the schedule so that everybody understands what the expectations are. I know I had to say to some people yesterday, I was like, is it pants optional now? Is that what happened? The schedule changed and now it's pants optional. I don't remember getting that memo. I didn't agree to it. So it's important to tell everybody when things change, what the schedule changes, what the expectations are. We can tell people in lots of different ways, whether it's that we put a thing up on the wall that we refer to what the rules in the schedule are, or we talk it through, or we show pictures, whatever it is. And somebody else said, my son has a watch with his schedule on it, which is great. Someone else says PECS was the starter for my son's language. It helped him to read and verbally speak from PECS.
Wow.
So we have at least one PECS winner here. Karen,
Okay.
thank you so much. We'll look forward to having you and your team back.
Thank you.
And now I'm going to cough. So sorry, I have a tickle. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Karen, bye-bye.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, Shannon.
No, I need a drink. I've got some water, thank you. But we want to, I think that Matt and Navah are here with us, Nancy, and I would
Okay,
love
great.
to have them join us so that they can be here with us. Are Matt and Navah with us? They might be getting.
Looks like we're connecting right now. There we
Okay.
go. There it says Navah Asner.
Hi,
Asner.
guys.
Hi, Navah.
As I continue to cough.
Oh, wait, we have no video.
Oh, Navah and Matt are here.
Wait, we
Okay,
have-
I see an N. I don't see your.
Right.
There
Oh,
you
just saw that.
are.
modern technology is beyond us.
You know, all the kids are home, so God willing, we won't be interrupted.
We
Oh,
understand.
I sort of hope we will be interrupted. I love
have-
it. when that
I have,
You never know.
I have Aviva watching, but she always figures out a way to ask me questions.
we would love to see Aviva. We'd love to see the entire Paskowitz-Asner Brady bunch. So it's all good.
Come on.
You be careful. Be careful what you ask for.
I know what I'm asking for. I love them all. We love you guys too. We're so thrilled that you guys are here, and we're gonna spend some time talking about some amazing things that you guys have coming up. But you know, we have with us here 4 people who surely loved our Joanne Laura. So I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to say, Nancy included, if you guys have things that, because I've had several days this week to talk to our audience about how much I loved our girl. But did you guys have anything you wanted to say?
I think, well, first of all, I just want to give a huge thank you to the beautiful, handsome, wonderful Charles, because Charles really gave us all an opportunity that we never, ever will forget. And he is our mensch for life, because he put the phone right up to Joanne and let us really pour out our hearts that last day. And he said that he saw some response from her. And what I said to Joanne that day, and what I mean, and I'm saying publicly, is the way that we honor Joanne now is we continue her mission. And when I heard that kid speak on our show, Will,
Yeah.
To me, that was like the perfect,
Bless you.
that's the perfect culmination of all of her life's work, to hear this kid say, how changed he's been because of Joanne's support, and what an incredible, well-spoken, incredible kid. And we felt the same way about how Joanne helped us, but that was like the educational side of Joanne. The other side, and was when we had the last act gala where Nancy was honored. And Joanne, Matt and I were talking, remember we were doing that silly thing on the carpet, and then she kind of like gestured to me, and she said to me, let's go get a drink. There's nowhere to get a drink around here. And so we snuck away, and we went to, there was a little bar like in the hotel, really snazzy, fun bar. And she was like flirting with the dudes at the bar, and we had this incredible martini, and we sat there and we had the greatest talk and the greatest time. And it was not even about kids or autism or anything. And I will never forget that we had this wonderful, fun girls' time before we went back and went back to reality. And she was just so full of life. I mean, I can't believe how soon it, that was not even that long ago.
I think that's what I want to highlight more than anything, is that she was so full of life. And,
Yeah.
you had this incredible person who had such a colorful history. And you know, one of my favorite things to do is sit at dinner with her, having drinks when I would drink.
When you drink.
When I drank. And but eating with her and
Mhm.
sitting in a restaurant for hours and just kind of talking about old, you know, times and stuff that, you know, she was, I don't know if anyone knows this, but I don't know if your viewers know this, but she was you know, she was a dancer, of course, and she was a big 80s person. She had lots of great 80s stories because I'm a child of the 80s, and she had wonderful 80s stories.
Yeah.
And she was in, for those who want to go out and look for this, she was in The Devil Inside.
Oh, yeah.
The Devil
yeah,
Inside.
yeah.
Access. Yeah.
By
I remember
NXS.
that.
She was in that video.
Gorgeous.
So you can see Joanne Laura in the 80s in the NXS video for
Yeah.
Devil Inside. And it's very, you can look it
She
up.
told
It's on
some crazy
YouTube.
stories about that
It
shoot
was great.
too.
No, but I mean, she you know, she had amazing energy. She was extremely politically motivated
Mhm.
individual who had very strong opinions about politics. And I used to really enjoy discussing with her and, you know, getting very animated with her about politics.
Yeah.
And she was a fun human being, and God, I'll miss her. God, I'll miss her.
I think
Yeah.
I think the children are going to miss her so much too.
Yes.
'They're
100%.
all going to miss her. Wyatt, my son, was in Autism Works, the workshop, and I, of course, told him about Joanne passing, and the first thing he said to me was, "Joanne's in heaven, and the angels are singing hallelujah."
Mhm.
And
Agree.
the
Absolutely.
kids adored her.
Oh,
And there's going to be a big hole in their lives now that she's gone.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute, because, you know, that's true. You would walk into a room where she was, and you'd bring your kids, and you'd see other kids, and they would just gravitate towards
Yeah.
her. I mean, she was
well, that's what the other mom said. I think it was Will's mom. Somebody said, I can't remember, that
Gina?
they had called her. Oh no, it was Mia's mom. And she said,
Arlene.
you know, she was the first person I called on Mother's Day because she was the mother
Right.
figure for so many of our kids. And I can't tell you, Nancy, how many kids have reached out to me and said, when are we going to celebrate Joe? When are we going to have some, you know, they need that goodbye too. We all had our wonderful goodbye. And I know Shannon's working hard on something.
We have a date now. We have a date now. We have a date now. We were going to do it a week from this Saturday, but we was decided that we needed just a little bit more time. So Saturday, the 27th.
Oh, thank God.
At 10:30 in the morning, we are going to have an online virtual memorial. And we're figuring out, but everybody around the world will be able to access it because she has friends in China and India and, you know, in New Zealand and all these places in France and England that have written to us and said, we want to be a part of this.
Yes.
You know, this is meant to be a placeholder because, you know, when Joanne and I had many conversations about the unthinkable, right, where we are right now. And she had plans for what she wanted for a memorial, and it is our intention to do that when we can. And she wanted people to be there and hugging. In fact, she wanted something very similar to the service that you did for your mom, Matt. She loved that service, and she wanted people to be able to sit together, hug together. And she and I talked about, you know, what happens if you die during the time of COVID. And it was unthinkable. And, but I promised her that we would do an online memorial. So we are. The 27th, there's going to be lots more information about that coming up, but I can tell you it's already shaping up to be this amazing event. And I also want to say, because you guys have made reference to it, you guys do this amazing show every Friday afternoon, the Center at Home. And last Friday, a really big portion of it was some people getting together and saying some amazing things. And that's what you were referring to. Joe Montaigne and his entire family were there. And there was this amazing young man, Will, who spoke. But it's not to be missed. And so I want to tell people, please, to be tuning into that show that you do on Friday afternoons. But I know that there's a way that they can go back and watch that episode. So can one of you tell them where they can watch today's episode and who you're having on, and where they can see the one from last week?
Sure. We go live on YouTube at 3:00 every Friday.
Pacific time.
Pacific time. Well, yes, Pacific time.
Yeah.
So 6:00 Eastern time.
Yes.
And then Mountain time, I guess it would be 4:00.
Yes. There you go.
And unless you're like in Indiana, then it gets kind of
Right.
weird. And I don't get it. I don't get it.
Get it
So,
either.
But I have a funny story about that. I'll tell you
Amber's in
someday.
Indiana.
No, I know. We go live 3:00 on YouTube and Facebook, and then it's archived there, and also on our website at asnerfamilycenter.org. And it's a small part of what we do every week. We do classes. Every day there's something going on. Usually at 3:00. Usually around 3:00, we have something going live, either on YouTube or Facebook. So like us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and we'll get you going with all that stuff.
And this is a great segue, because I can, like so many times this week, I can feel Joanne poking me in my back, and she's like, enough, talk about the work. And that's really what we invited you here today to talk about, the work that you're doing at the Ed Asner Center, which Joanne loved. And so I can feel her pushing my rib. Yes, of course. I can feel her pushing my rib going, get to it, Shannon, enough. So
The big part of the center, but before, even when we didn't even have a facility, Joanne encouraged me to debut with camp. So one of our motivators of actually being able to debut the center was creating the camp. I created the camp because I didn't want Eddie and Will to have to go back to ESY. But I wanted the camp to be an expressive arts camp. So Joanne, who actually taught me that saying, expressive arts, because I was saying, oh, we have a enrichment camp with arts and this, and then she's like, no, expressive arts camp. So I remember everything she taught me, but the first camp, and I was scared, I won't say a bad word, but I was scared witless. And because I didn't know if I could do it. I've run camps my whole life, typical camps, surf camps, and this was a totally new ball game. And Joanne was shoulder to shoulder with me all day long, worked her tail off. We'd have these downloads where every day she'd give us we would literally discuss each student, and she'd tell me, now this is what we do with this guy, and it was the most incredible experience of learning I've had in my whole life. And everything I've done since has been connected to that first camp experience with Joanne. It really has.
Well,
So tell us about the plans for this year
yes.
and the camp.
The plan for this year is my heart breaking to say that I have to formally cancel Camp Ed.
Okay.
And the reason why is because the way that we discuss, the way that we want camp to be, with the guidelines that we have to follow, it just could not look the same way. And so many of my regular students won't physically wear a mask. They cannot wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't exclude these kids who have really been a part of the camp since its debut.
And this hasn't come without a lot of debate.
Oh, it's the hardest thing I've ever done.
It's been a really difficult decision. And I would say that the decision has been made really in the last 48 hours.
Yeah.
With all the news coming out about this new spike and everything. The mask situation is such a tough one for a lot of our kids.
We've almost gone to fisticuffs over this because I've tried so hard to get around every single avenue to make this happen. And Matt is much more the conventional, by the book guy. And I just feel like there has to be a way. I never want to say no. For all the kids that are thinking about camp, it's not saying that we're not going to have some in-person class. We just can't have
6 hours.
We can't have a camp where kids are with us for longer durations of time. It's impossible to have a camp where you don't give them snacks or food or anything. And the food guidelines, the food restrictions were so strict. And some of our kids, you can't stop them from having a snacky whack, that isn't,
But that said, we are meeting on Monday with some,
our legal
some of our
advisors, yeah.
and we are talking about, what reopening for us is going to look like. So we'll have more information on that probably next week. But it's a complicated time. It really is.
I appreciate that you're not trying. Look, there's a lot of people out there that are like, well, we're going to forge ahead, and I don't know that everybody has really thought it through. So I appreciate that you guys are thinking it through and putting safety first. But let's say this though, there's a lot of other things that you are doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've been hitting it right out of the park from minute one. I'm so proud of you. So let's talk a little bit about the things that you are doing, because I feel like there's such an opportunity here that, a lot of times we'll have you guys on and we'll talk about the amazing things that you're doing. And a lot of people go, but I don't live in California.
Yeah.
I can't. And one of the many things that we're like, okay, if we have to take all the bad with this COVID thing, one of the best things has been that people all over the country have been able to participate in the things that you guys
it's wonderful.
and to do it for free.
Yep.
Shut the front door. You guys are amazing.
Actually, we've had people from other countries.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's been we've had people from Ireland and
England, a lot of England.
Okay, well, tell people what they can do and how they can do it.
Well, I'm going to go through our week.
All right, let's do it.
Great.
Yeah,
Do you remember?
Do you want to do it?
No, I'm going to watch you.
Okay, she's going to text me now. So Mondays we have music with Judy Langdon, who is our resident music therapist extraordinaire. She's an incredible musician and singer and music therapist. And she, there's a big element of fun to what she does. And she does about 15-20 minutes of sing-song stuff. And
she's really the female Mr. Rogers. I mean, she really is. She is the cutest thing. She is going to be our new camp director as well. So artistic, so she's so creative in her programs that every week it's something fun. And that's one of the classes that people from all around the world are really appreciating, is the music therapy class.
And how do we access that?
Once again, it's on YouTube and Facebook, 3:00 every Friday.
Every Monday.
I'm sorry,
Monday.
every Monday.
We're still on
Scratch
Monday.
that, reverse, every Monday. Then on Tuesdays, we have a special show, which we felt that everyone during this kind of difficult time needed a kind of mental health check-in. So we created this kind of podcast called the Mental Health Check-In with Navah
Health and Wellness.
And so it's really mental health related issues.
Mm-hmm. With our mental health director, Krissa Saad, who every week it's a new topic. Every week, a lot of times we bring in holistic people and naturalists and meditation people. But mostly we do parent-driven topics. So one of the topics that we had recently was the disappointment in families that their children didn't have a regular graduation experience. And a lot of the kids were going into a depression because they felt like one thing after the other and one disappointment after the other with this pandemic. And
Hey, we got somebody joining us.
Hello. I knew it.
Hi. We're
Hi,
on
you guys.
TV.
Hi.
Stephen, Eddie.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, good if I cut off my bangs.
Cut off your bangs?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good
It's the real moment of being with
Absolutely.
absolutely love it.
Shave it.
But anyway, I mean, for sure. Don't cut off his bangs though. Okay. But the health and wellness show is really like it's really a personal project of mine because I come from such a naturalist background with my dad being the guy that he was, and I really feel, and Nancy. Oh, now we're having the cat. Sorry.
Hi, kitty cat.
I feel that there's so many things that with anxiety specifically that natural remedies can help. Before you take anything, we try to bring in every aspect and every opportunity for kids. And we had a wonderful lady come in who started a CBD company. And, I have terrible anxiety and panic attacks. And I started taking her morning formula, and it's really been life-changing for me. It's really helped me so much. And so those are the kind of things we bring in on the Health and Wellness Show.
And then on Wednesday, we have art with Aviva. We have character drawing with Aviva. So she takes you through how to draw something. So we've done characters from Up and Inside Out and Animal Crossing, which is this new game that everyone's playing.
Yeah.
I don't understand, but and then there's
and also that Wednesday class, she has kids write in and say what their favorite to give suggestions, because that's more of a animation kind of class that we were doing when the center was open. So Aviva really does take the suggestions of the kids and the fan favorites.
And we do all these classes live, except for the music. We do all the classes live so that people can chat, with the teachers while this is happening. So we've done like SpongeBob and basically all the characters.
Fan
we do
favorites.
A new character every week. And then on Thursday we have Fitness with Liz, which is a great fitness class, which is a Zoom class, which is live.
And Liz is an amazing Liz Luziano. She has worked as a support person for many, many years. She's just an incredibly motivating teacher. She also is, we have her in the center, Camp Ed, for physical fitness. But you got to tell the story of because most of our kids is like Eddie. They're sedentary. I'm trying so hard to get Eddie to get on a diet, and I'm not supposed to say the word diet, but just to get healthier. But Coach Liz takes kids who are really, they don't want to exercise. They don't want to exercise. They're very sedentary. And she creates these like fantasy experiences with them to make them want to exercise. And one of our students, Zoe, is really into The Walking Dead. So she did a whole exercise program with Zoe about they were zombie hunters, and they're going around, and she's doing a full hour of physical fitness. And this kid had no idea that she was working out. She was just having a blast with Coach Liz.
Killing zombies.
Yeah. So Coach Liz.
I love it.
Because killing zombies is a very physical thing. And then we have and then on Fridays we have a really packed day. We have Corona Kitchen, which is our cooking class, which is quick cooking lesson every Friday, about 20 minutes.
What time is that though? I always miss that. What time is that?
Noon.
That's at noon. Noon Pacific, 3:00 Eastern.
And Shannon, I'd love for you to, because every other week we have a guest from the community do their favorite recipe. It's usually like a really easy to do recipe that most people can do.
Today's episode is a bean soup.
But I'd love you to do that gluten-free pasta. My God.
Oh, sure. It's so easy.
That's the only gluten-free dish I've ever tasted.
I'll sit down and eat with you.
It was incredible. It was incredible.
Shannon has lots of gluten-free, casein-free recipes that I've tried. So
wow.
Nancy's got some good ones too. Nancy's pumpkin pie is the best one.
Oh wow, we love pumpkin. That's Eddie's favorite thing.
You're both.
Which one, Shannon?
Your pumpkin pie is the recipe.
Oh, my
use
pumpkin
now all
pie,
the
but
time.
I
The
have a
best.
great recipe for gluten-free, dairy-free cauliflower au gratin that tastes just like mac and cheese.
Oh,
There we go.
wow.
I gotta
I'd-
try
Yeah.
that.
That would be a
I'd
great
be
one.
interested in that. Yeah,
Mhm.
that sounds
Right?
Yeah.
Love that too.
Okay, but we've gotten off topic. We're talking
Okay.
about food now. We've gotten off topic. So
Then
on
on-
Friday, Corona Kitchen at noon Pacific time, then the center at home.
Then
Center
the
at
center
home
at
at
home at
3.
3.
And then
And
Saturday,
then Saturday we have
Aviva
I'm
does a
yeah.
an arts and crafts. So Wednesday is her more animation drawing, and Saturdays she has a totally different. Every week is a totally different arts and crafts, specifically, you know, creative things that you can use around your house and really easy to do arts and crafts.
She's amazing.
This week.
Let's just say
Pretty
she's amazing.
amazing.
But
This Saturday she's doing some sort of slime thing.
Yeah.
That's really
Love
cool.
it. Of course she is.
That kind of freaked me
But
out.
all of these classes people can access just by going to your site or going to YouTube, and they're free. Is that correct?
Yeah.
100% free. We you know, they're just free. We want everyone to have an okay time while we're going through this crazy time we're going through, and it's
Yeah.
important for us to kind of offer this to the people out there. And
There's no age limit on it. So if the parent wants to
No.
do it with them, you're like, I want to do the animation class. I want to do the fitness class. Do it with your kid. Somebody
Yeah.
wrote it and said, right now I'm taking a music therapy and art therapy course to help my son who is stuck at home right now. And that's wonderful, but I'll bet you're paying for it.
Yeah.
Go check out the stuff at the
Yeah.
center and save your.
Monday with Judy at 3:00 it's a
That's
free
the
class
music.
and your kid will love it.
but then
Then
also
On Saturday,
on Saturday
oh,
night,
Saturday nights.
we
Oh,
have,
Saturday.
Very
Oh,
important.
yes.
we
The
have
social.
a social movie chat that our social director at the center, Chelsea Darnell, does. And basically it's you watch a movie like Indiana Jones and or well, that's not a movie, but Raiders of the Lost Ark or Star Wars, or they did like Camp Rock, which I don't even know what that is, but Camp Rock
and
last week.
their group has become so tight and so really like a real social group, like we had planned in the beginning. But they each pick a movie now, so everyone gets an opportunity to pick the movie. But the greatest thing about this is that Chelsea from the inception really helped Chris and I create this group. She's the social director. She has taken this group over and completely taken it off my hands, thank God. But it's a real social club. And Matt and I listen in sometimes, but we give them their space. And it's, you know, we do have a moderator just in case. Not a moderator, but kind of.
But for everybody who says there's nothing for your teen, there's nothing for your young adult that's social, here it is. Here it is, and it's free, and they can do it online, social distancing.
100%.
Draven wants us all to know that Camp Rock is a Disney movie with the Jonas Brothers, and it's important that Draven wants us to.
I've been there. We go. And
They want the link to the channel too. They want it in the chat. So Traven, get ready to put it in the chat. What is the address, Matt?
Oh boy, you see.
Yes. Okay.
I'm
I
not
hope that
prepared.
maybe if Shelby is Shelby watching. Shelby, can you put it in?
Shelby, if you're watching, please put it in.
But
And
also just go to Ed
also you
Asner
can go to-
Family Center.
you can go to our
on
Facebook page, and
They
it'll
post
be
it all
there.
day on Saturday.
It'll be there.
The Ed Asner Family Center on Facebook.
Yes.
But
And
Shelby, please put it in.
And
And
then
then Sunday we have.
you love to interrupt me, don't
Oh,
you?
go ahead.
No.
I've done it 8 times. I apologize.
I insist. I'm not saying another word.
You can pull my fingernails off. I'm not saying anything.
It's a live show. Somebody say something.
What's going on? You have yoga on Sunday.
At 12
Oh
o'clock.
my goodness.
Yoga with
Every
Shauna.
day of the week.
And actually yoga, I mean, Shauna is incredible. She worked at the help group in their meditation department. She has been a part of the special needs community for, I think, 15 years. And she is incredible. Even kids that absolutely hate yoga have done a couple classes with Shauna and they're hooked. So that is definitely for the whole family.
Yeah.
Sundays at noon. Amazing, amazing Shauna.
And then most likely we'll be adding new classes throughout the summer.
Yes, we have a
So-
couple really exciting ones because thank God people, not just community members, but vendors are seeing our content and saying, hey, I could do that, you know, where they're not able to see people. And so we've had a couple of really exciting vendors reach out to me that we're going to have some new programs coming online. But we are planning, Beautiful Judy, the music therapist and Camp Ed director, we are planning a version of Camp Ed to be virtual. And it's not going to be like a virtual camp, because if you're like, you know, if the kids are like Eddie, they've been, I mean, I had a drink. I celebrated yesterday after Eddie finished online schooling. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It really was. And we had 3 guys doing it separately. So I don't want kids to just get in front of the screen for hours at a time. It's not going to be like that, but we'll talk more about that when we come to it. It's probably going to be most likely in the end of July or beginning of August.
Okay, we've only got 8 minutes left, you guys, and we got a lot still we got to talk about, because you got 2 big events that are coming up.
Yes.
You have your Unity Walk, and we got to talk about the poker tournament. So you got 8 minutes, go.
Okay.
8 minutes.
So the Unity Walk is really just it's certainly a way we can raise funds during this difficult time, and do it together. And since we can't kind of all congregate in the same place at the same time, we wanted to create a way to kind of go out and be a part of the community and celebrate what we're doing and the community that we want to create while this is all going on. So it's the Unity Walk is that. It's July 4th. We're asking people to get outside with your family and to walk with purpose and with the purpose of community. And that's what we want.
But we're not all meeting in a parking lot and walking together.
No.
You're walking.
And we're not saying a virtual walk where people sit at home and don't really walk. You're saying get out, go walk, but in your little pod of your family.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there's some really fun incentives that people, if they get different tiers of fundraising. We have an incredible graphics partner who has made these amazing logos for us. And so there's different tiers that you can win some of the amazing product. One of them is a mask that I'm not going to tell you about because it's mind blowing. But the main thing is that it's an opportunity for us to be able to continue to give all these online programs for free to the community. We have no other way of fundraising right now. I mean, we have to do these online events. The poker tournament, I think it's going to blow people's minds. I was like, I didn't understand it in the beginning, and I'm finally wrapping my head around it, and it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun. And I think people are really, really going to be surprised.
Maybe we should explain that.
Yeah, tell us how you're going to hold it.
But the date has also changed on the poker tournament, correct?
It's not this Saturday.
Thank you. When is it?
we had originally planned to do the poker tournament this Saturday at Playa Studios in Playa del Rey, which is a great place. Next year, maybe we'll have it there. But unfortunately, we have this situation that we're in that kind of limits the way we can do things. So we kind of hit the drawing board. We came back and said, let's do this virtually. And so we're doing a virtual poker tournament. It is the first of its kind, really. I mean, there've been like tournaments out there that are online, but there's never been anything quite like this. It's going to be a simulcast. So it's basically an online poker tournament with a simulcast. And basically people will be sitting at tables, virtual tables with celebrities. We have a ton of celebrities.
It's crazy.
That have joined us.
Including, can I say Shannon's favorite one?
What?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Randy Rainbow.
Oh, I love Randy. Yay. I thought you were going to say Oprah and James Taylor. But I love Randy Rainbow, but if you can get Oprah and James Taylor, I will plot.
I'll work on it for you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We're going to have some interesting things going on. So we have incredible talent that are going to play and take part in this. Mia Farrow is going to take part in it.
Oh, wow. That's huge.
Ben Affleck is going to be a part of it.
Wow.
Jack Black, Brad Garrett,
You've got some great names. That's
Ro-
amazing.
Rosie O'Donnell will be a part of it.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Okay.
Part of it. So it's my, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. My heart is
A flutter.
a flutter
You're a
because
flutter.
you know it's just been a great time to kind of talk to these people about getting involved. So I'm glad that they're getting involved, and we have some interesting, fun things for people to do at this
Yeah,
tournament.
it's
So
going to be really
it's going to be a poker tournament, so it's going to be fun to watch. We're going to have Zoom-like atmosphere, so it'll be zooming in with people, checking in with them. It's a serious poker tournament, so people will be playing poker. And then we have an interesting thing. If you take a celebrity out at this tournament, you actually are going to get a T-shirt that says, "I took a celebrity out at the Ed Asner
Love it.
and Friends Poker Tournament," and it'll be signed by the celebrity that you actually took out. And a lot of people don't know what taking out means. So let's say that. So if you're playing poker with Ben Affleck, and you force Ben Affleck to lose all of his money, then Ben Affleck is going to sign a shirt, and you're going to get that shirt. Okay.
I love it, you guys.
Then we're also
All right, we've got about a minute and a half, so bring it home.
We're also going to have an auction, a great auction, an online auction that's going to have all sorts of great things. But the one thing that we're really going to have is every celebrity that's taking part in this is going to wear and sign the Ed Asner and Friends Poker Tournament jersey, which will have their names on the back, and they'll be able to sign it, and you can bid on those jerseys. So that'll all take place August 29th.
August 29th. But the greatest thing is that it's not just in Playa del Rey. This is going to be.
No, it's worldwide. It's
this
global.
is going to be our friends in England, and our friends in
Yes.
all around the world are going to be able to enjoy and be a part of this. So in a way, and these stars are who we've tried to get for years. They're in, they're on their couch. They're stoked to help us and not have to really physically get dressed up or whatever. So it's really going to be a night of the stars for sure.
So it's gonna-
Incredible. And
something
people can go to the website to find out more, right?
Yes, it's not. I mean, you're the first people that are hearing
We
about
haven't
this.
talked
So
about it.
it's not even. You can't even buy tickets yet. We're going to
Okay.
do a press release in a couple of weeks, or probably next week. That kind of lets people know how to take part in this. But the important thing is, it's on August 29th, and all the proceeds benefit the programs of the Ed Asner Family Center. And we hope that people come and enjoy and donate.
Okay, so first things first, because the 4th of July weekend, we're doing the Unity Walk. Where do people sign up their teams to do that?
They can go to our website, and there's a link on our website.
Okay,
EdAsnerFamilyCenter.org.
and you can do that today. But
Yes.
the poker tournament, you can't do anything yet, but you need to be haunting their site, because I'll tell you what will happen. On some Tuesday at 3:00, they will put up the thing where you can buy tickets, and there will be a small number of tickets where you get because I know you guys, you usually do this, where you get a little bit extra of the celebrity experience, and they will go like that. So
Well, that's the thing, and we are actually limiting the amount of tickets that we have, so it'll be very limited. One
so
thing
you need to get them on the first day.
yeah, the one thing you can do though with this is you will be able to watch it online. So
Okay.
that the details of that are being worked out, but you will be able to watch it online. So there will be
All
a simulcast of this online that you'll be able to watch. So
All right.
All right,
Well,
got
you guys
a
are
lot
all
going on.
amazing. And I just want to say that Joanne loved you all. So thank you for being here today, because, this has been so hard, and I'm glad that we are spending time together, because that's what she would want us to do. But check out the Ed Asner Family Center. Start on Facebook, and then you'll see all the things. Take some of those free classes, because why wouldn't you? And they're amazing. And we're going to keep rooting for you guys that things get better and that you can get back to Camp Ed, because it's an
Yes.
amazing, special
willing.
thing.
Thank you, Matt
yes.
and Nava.
Thank you,
It's been
Nancy.
Thank
great
you,
having
guys.
you.
thank you so much.
Bye.
And
Love
we're
you.
gonna, Nancy, we're going to be back on Monday. Great
Yes.
shows next week. Really excited about that. And but until then, give your kiddos a hug from me.
And give yourselves a hug from me. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, girls.
Bye.